talking landlord education now on Property Tribes TV, and I'm joined by Brian at Linehan of Belvoir, Southampton. So welcome, Brian. How important is landlord education, regardless of whether a landlord is choosing to self-manage or let through a letting agent?
Landlord education is critical. The environment is constantly changing. We're seeing new regulations coming through. We've got the whole thing now with the carbon monoxide alarms. Whether it's, particularly if it's any HMO related issues, there's a lot of regulations that hangs out of that. But even a simple let of an apartment or a house, for someone who's new into the business, it can be a potential minefield. And having the knowledge to go about your business in the correct manner, to deal with your tenants correctly, to deal with your deposits correctly, and to look after and structure your lease agreements in a fair way for both you and for the tenant.
Absolutely. And down there in sunny Southampton, you're running a series of landlord events, and we're talking specifically about your next event, which is taking place in Southampton at St Mary's Stadium on the 19th of May. And I have to admire your timing, because obviously it will be just after the general election, and presumably that has something to do with the content of the event.
Yeah, very much so. Clearly, the election could have a significant bearing on the impact that the future housing policies will have for the private rented sector. And we've been very much talking to our landlords and looking at the potential implications for them, depending on the shape of the political environment post-election day. We work very closely with the landlords to make sure they're aware of the potential impact that may come through, and to some degree that may sway their potential future investments in the sector, whether they'll continue to expand their portfolios or whether they will look to just sit tight in what they have, or indeed whether they may look to contract.
Indeed. And you've got the lovely Kate Faulkner as your main speaker. Is that one of the topics Kate's going to be covering?
Yeah, Kate is really, I'm delighted with Kate coming down, because one thing which we have with Southampton, it's been tipped for a number of years as a buy-to-let hotspot, and what we really want to do is to kind of park to some degree that hype that surrounds, whether it's the HSBC report or Rightmove coming out saying, look, it's a great place to go. We want to strip it down to its bare ingredients, build up the basic fundamentals of why you should come and invest in Southampton, such as, the local economy, what drives it, the employment that's here, the demand for housing. And when you build up that picture, which Kate's going to really do, we can then look and say, okay, fine. And by the way, other people are also saying it's a good place to come and invest. But you've got to tread carefully. Like any market, it's not just a question of coming in and buying a property within the Southampton market and it'll work for you. You've really got to do your homework, understand the market, and then potentially over time it can be a good investment for you. And that's really what Kate's going to help us pick through and build up, get those building blocks in place, so that at the end of the evening, hopefully the landlords who are present will leave with a really good understanding of what makes the Southampton property market tick.
Fantastic. And you've got some other speakers as well talking about mortgages and finance.
That's correct. We're delighted. We've got Chris Skirtups, who's joining us from the Mortgage Hut, and Chris will be taking us through, what's available in the market, how often people should be looking at their particular buy-to-let deals and seeing what is the best that's available. I will also be providing some really local knowledge in terms of the pros and cons of the Southampton property market, areas where people should look at, areas where people should maybe back away from, and also what's really moving, where we're seeing strong demand on the letting side for accommodation. We'll also touch on the Southampton student market. It's a market which has evolved significantly over the last number of years, and there are certain issues and hurdles people need to be aware of if they're looking to invest in that market. And finally, we'll also have a wrap on it in terms of wealth management, looking at how best to structure your buy-to-let investment portfolio, taking into account inheritance tax, and making sure that the steps you put in place now will hold good as you go forward in life, potentially as you go to sell, and ultimately, if unfortunately you pass away, or when you pass away, that your assets will stay within your family wealth or go to who you intend them to go to, rather than be taken up in tax and the like. So it really will be a complete evening. We'll look at people who want to start their portfolio, making sure they structure their acquisitions right, get a really good understanding of the Southampton property market, and also then how to fund their investments going forward.
Well, it sounds like a really worthwhile event, Brian, and what's even better is it's free to attend. And I think I would urge all landlords in the Southampton area to go and join Brian on the 19th of May, because I think landlords can kind of work in, they can kind of be a little bit isolated sometimes, and it's very good for landlords to get together, update their knowledge, chat to other landlords. There'll be a lot of knowledge in the room that evening, not just from the speakers.
Absolutely. We have a lot of good active landlords here who go about their business in a really, really good way. And we really enjoy networking with them. We're learning from them what their experiences are, and we can pass on knowledge as well. So there's a really good buzz in the room at these events, and it is a great opportunity to meet other landlords, meet other investors, and just learn and pick up bits and pieces in these seminars. And as you say, it's free, so we'd love to see as many people as possible attending.
Fantastic. Well done for supporting landlord education, Brian. I think it's a really good event, and I can totally vouch for Kate Faulkner as a speaker as well. Tuesday the 19th of May, starting at 5:45 for registration at St Mary's Stadium in Southampton. Free to attend, and we'll put the link to the event website underneath this video. So thanks very much, Brian. Good luck with your event. And
great, thanks Vanessa.
We'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.
Definitely, will do. Thank you. Bye now.